Hello, we are back. Offline, we've been figuring out our mission and getting ready to wrap this up. So, yes, welcome back to the second part of Persephone, and we have the handy dandy map up right now so that we can look at where we are. So right now we're in the Rin system, we're in the Cove. And Josh, you were telling us where the various jobs were, or at least where some of the jobs were.
Yeah. So the prisoner transport, so Isotriple Max Secure, which is the maximum security prison, is actually in the Breck system. However, the prisoner is being transported. I'm trying to click on the Twitch stream as if it were my So this is where the prisoner is going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
This is roughly where the prisoner. I should probably pick a better color because I'm like this dark gray. So the prisoner is starting in the Rin system, and they're going to be transported through Iota and go to Breck.
Mm-hmm.
And so the prisoner transport is currently en route to Iota. Now you can see that the Cove is like roughly there, and it just happens that at this time of year the Cove is pretty close to the gates. The gates orbit the sun just at a very vast distance. It's the kind of thing that it's like you have discovered a gate beyond Pluto. So yeah, the gate is pretty close. If you book through it, your ship will probably catch up to it. Prisoner transports are not known for their like outrageous engine capacity. So like your ship with its decent engines should be able to cruise on up to it. So that job is actually limited time because like once they get to Breck, deuces, the prisoner is now in a max security prison. That's it. That's the gig. And also the Ashen Knives, the hot swap is also in the Iota system. So if you want either of those jobs, you're gonna have to make a jump. And if you the last job, the job that came in an email to Dipper is actually in the Rin system now. However, the way that the rules of the game work, if you continue doing jobs in the Rin system, you're going to keep building up heat. You're going to actually become wanted. So changing systems is not the worst idea. Also, that is not a time-limited job. That is a job that you can do when you feel like it is time. And you do not know where your third target is because in bounty hunting jobs, sometimes when you have to track someone down, you have to like work a clock or acquire the asset of their location or do any number of things.
I was thinking that as the ability to acquire asset, if we wanted to, I could get information about them for next time, right? Like I could start tracking them down. Unless we have an asset that we need for this particular job. But I think we're going Ashen Knives. Right? Or is that
real quick, Strash, what's the payoff for what's Arloc's question? What's the bounty on this ruthless killer? We know that the prisoner rescue is 6 cred, but like sweeten the pot here, Arlox.
Actually, Arlox says unfortunately, because of how the job is set up, you have to take it for 6 cred because going higher would mean that we might as well just pay them to deliver it. And it's kind of about making a point. So either job is 6 cred, although Jesry says that the prisoner rescue may end up like, Jesry's like, I don't know, I could go back to them. I could go back to the mat, see if I could try and squeeze out a little extra money. But the group that's trying to hire you is Jesry's like, they freak me the F out.
Oh,
and it's just like, but the money's good.
And what about this ruthless killer? What's the bounty on their head in the whole system?
Oh, it's like it's 8 cred, which is a little high. You're not expecting that kind of thing, but it's not unusual when you're like, I have to go up against an assassin. Well, I'm gonna need a little extra scratch because it's expensive. No.
I mean, I feel like if we're talking 6 cred for either prisoner rescue or Arlox, for me, like it's worth taking the 6 cred for Arlox because it's a relationship that we value, right? So like all other things being equal, like we don't know anything about this prisoner. We have no ties to them or like any need to bump them off the ship. This is definitely not going to come bite us in the ass at any point in the future, ever.
Never. No. Well, and Jesry is our contact who we essentially want to maintain good good relationship with. But it doesn't sound like, what's Jezreel's pronouns? She, her?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't sound like she's like hot to trot for us to go take this job. It sounds like it's an offer, and she's
she
even
was
a
like,
little
here's
enthusiastic
some
about
things
it.
I got for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm for helping out Arlox. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Jen,
you
Lauren?
down?
Sounds good.
Can I
Great.
can I
Awesome.
can I have you folks actually? So I think it's one of, so it's hilarious, by the way. Out of character, most of the groups that I play with are just like, we're gonna do both. You folks are like so conservative. It's amazing.
Well, here's the thing. I'm secretly thinking like maybe we'll take the prisoner one once we're on Iota. Like I don't want to rule that out. I'm just
Okay. I think that there's just a moment where there's just a moment where right before you leave, do you reach out to like Jezreel and say like, tell Arlox we're taking the gig, we'll contact him, like whenever. Do you let Jezreel know what your decision is, or do you just like pile onto your ship and take off?
Oh, I think we definitely. I mean, Jezreel's a contact. We care about her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we'd say like, sorry, we got something personal we got to do for friends.
But
we're going to be in the Iota system, so if we have a chance to, we'll hit you up on a Nexus link to see if that prisoner transport is still in transit. But we don't know how this is going to go down, so we can't take either of them right now.
I thought Jezreel got us all three of those.
Nope, Arlox got us the last one.
Arlox via Jezreel. Jezreel's like a contact.
Right, yeah.
Basically like
we were helping Arlox, who is a good friend of ours, but Jezreel is the one who brought us the job. So it's still like, yeah, hey, thanks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arlox knows to contact Jezreel. Jezreel, like, because you folks are out of contact frequently, people can't just like call you, and people aren't just like, I'm gonna shoot an email about hiring you to murder some people for me. Right. So like Arlox, who knows you folks and who you're good friends with, knows to contact Jezreel, because Jezreel's the person that handles your jobs. They're like your middle management, right? Like they help isolate you from groups and keep them, like, if you say no to a job, they try to give you a little bit of space, right? Which I'm about to wreck all over you. So I think that there is a moment right before you leave the cove, right? Like where you're like, yeah, we're taking Alex's job. We're just refueling. We're going to be out of here in a couple hours. And Joshua's like, cool, I'll let everyone know, what's going on. That sounds great. And there's a moment where there's like, you're getting ready to take off, right? So like you're on your ship. Everyone's like booting up stuff, getting into their like little normal positions. And we're actually going to talk about Jen's character in a hot second here. But I think that there is a very archaic moment where there's the equivalent of a knock on the door, which is that somebody like actually like pings your airlock that's about to detach from the ship, as if they're not terribly concerned about the fact that it's about to get detached from the ship. And when you're like, what the, like, if you bring up the little cameras, there is this like 9-foot tall hooded cloaked thing standing outside of your airlock.
Nice. I think there's got to be some kind of external PA system, external comms. So there's we're about to launch. What can we do for you, friend? Real pregnant pause there.
There's a moment where the hood lifts up, and underneath it you see a glittering of what is probably multiple eyes, and it says, I am here to ask you to reconsider.
What timing? Yeah, I think, do we let this person onto our ship, or are we going to meet them on the dock? Whisper starts coming out of the cockpit.
Cargo bay with guns trained on them.
Right. Yeah, I feel like we don't have a lot of room on
no killing on the cove. That's the rules.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if it's okay with everyone, I think the door slides open, and the three of us, several of us are all standing there like in the doorway to greet them.
So I think that there's this like tense moment where like hands come up and go to pull the hood back, and it's a perfectly normal person, except that they're real tall, and they look at all of you. Oh, by the way, just because Scion, I think the moment they step on the ship, your stomach feels awful queasy, right? Like you can feel the weight twisting, like real not good. And yeah, this person, like when they pull their cloak off, there's no glittering. Their face looks normal. They look like a perfectly normal person. And they just look at all of you and they say, I apologize for the inconvenience. I know that you are planning to leave, but my faction has asked me to speak to you and ask you to reconsider your position on the offer that we made.
Yeah. Well, which offer? What? Yeah. So what's up?
There are, the guy just like looks around your ship. He says, your ship is conveniently suited to attempting to penetrate that particular prisoner transport. Your reputation is that you will, once you take the job, it will get done correctly.
I'm sorry. Just to. I mean, that's good. Do you mean we get like a bonus engagement die?
I think he says you wish more information on the transport. We might be able to provide. Well, actually, what he says is, I might be able to assist you in acquiring codes for something like that.
Who's the prisoner?
A close personal friend of mine.
That's specific. Who are you?
Actually, he has a name. One second. I forget it off the top of my head, but
I'll say what I said in chat. It sounds like Maya too.
Yeah, absolutely.
He says, the man you are looking for is an individual known as Lexal. My name is Noro. We only go by first names amongst our group. Your identity is based on other things.
Super normal human names. Yep.
Yeah. Do we know, when Jezri told us what the job was, do we know why the person was arrested? Like what the charges are?
Nope.
They're going to Isotropa
It's like
Max.
you need prisoner 26578.
Yeah.
Open the door, grab him, get the F out.
Yeah, got it.
Jezri's just like, this seems like a normal gig.
Yeah.
But this person's like, not normal.
Yeah. Isotropa Max is not a place that they send people for small crimes.
No, unless somebody really important hates you, in which case, yes.
Yeah.
But he says, do you need a minute to consider?
Why don't you, we'll meet back with you in a moment. And
I await your decision. And he does this thing that just like he settles down as if he has like articulated or reticulated legs. He just like shrinks an extra like 4 to 5 feet and like nests inside that cloak in the middle of your deck.
Nice.
Very normal. Hey man, we can't do this. We got to get out of here. We got to close that airlock and go. We got to punch it. Let's get the fuck off this rock. Actually, Stephen is very curious about this, but you know, Scion is creeped out.
Sarah, I don't like anybody telling us what jobs we should and shouldn't be doing, or the implicit threat coming along with this.
He asked politely that you reconsider.
Bullshit.
We know what please reconsider means. We're bounty hunters.
And threatening at the same time.
I guess like the thing that I don't get is he comes over here, he says we got to reconsider. He doesn't tell us anything about why. What we're supposed to tell our friends, our contacts that we're not going to come through for them, and for what? For what? Like a lousy 6 cred, and like I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Cross my arms.
Dipper. Jen, is Grandma with us right now? Or
I have no idea. I feel like I'm in between characters at the
Oh,
moment.
it's totally fine. So
Grandma
let's have a question, Jen. Does Grandma decide to stay on the station, or is
I
she
was
going to
thinking
be
maybe, yeah.
or is she going to be on the ship but in the background? Like, That's fine.
I don't have strong feelings either way. Both are totally legit things that she might do.
Pick one just so that we know if Grandma is currently part of this decision because, among other things, this is her ship and she might have a say.
Yeah, right. If Grandma was here, I would
Yeah.
definitely want to know what she thought.
I actually think that she stays at the Cove.
Okay. Do you want to introduce your new character now?
Sure.
Let's do it.
I'm going to play Samara Vosa, the scoundrel,
Nice.
who was a woman, maybe 20s or 30s, wears a hooded cloak. She's not 9 feet tall. Starting ability is serendipitous. Special ability is never tell me the odds, because I was requested to make a Gambit generation character.
Yeah.
By the Gambit Eater. I mean scoundrelly, right? Probably like leather pants. Also, I'm very much in love with the Psyblade idea that Josh gave me, so we're gonna do that. I put a picture up in the character sheet, which is kind of fun.
Look at that.
Probably a different icon on the like hood thing than the skull and crossbones, although maybe that one too. I don't know.
Very nice. And are you part of the Ashen Knives? Are you?
Unclear.
Are you a pirate?
I'm definitely a pirate. I know that.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
I think if we were gonna do the other mission, I was like, yes, I'll be part of the Ashen Knives, but I don't know if that fits if we do this other mission.
It's convenient. It's convenient to have a neutral party. Yeah.
I mean, it could be inconvenient if we decide not to do it, and you're like, "Wait, I thought we were going to do the job that you said."
Dementia.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So you're there with us right now. Samara is in the hold. Okay.
Does it look like you're comfortable? Are you just like back on deck? You're like, "Hey, crew, we've been friends. I know I wasn't in the pilot episode, but I am usually on the ship and comfortable." Like, hello, strangers. How's it going? My name is.
I think it's the latter.
Okay.
I think you guys just picked me up. Maybe Grandma vouched for me or something.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely the new person, but I feel very I look comfortable on the ship. I feel like I'm doing the scoundrel lead against one of the bay walls.
Very nice.
Dipper would have definitely offered you some brownies and given you a tour upon first entering the ship before all this like nonsense went down.
Love it.
So I guess.
Okay, this person is being intentionally vague with us, vaguely as well as being vaguely menacing. If they obviously they don't want to tell us all the details that's going on here.
You can ask, but yes, you're correct.
my angle on this is I want to talk about benefit, right? This person comes, they're like, "Hey, we want you to break contract with your friends for the same exact amount of money to do something that's unsure." So my question is, what would make us actually reconsider our decision? Because we could just go back to them and be like, "Hey, we're sorry. We have a lot of requests for our time. We've been offered more money. We've been offered, we have good people. We can't do it." What would make us say yes? I think I could go back to this person. I've got a lot of sway. I could be like, "Hey, we understand your position. We're sympathetic," right? You start talking about 10 cred, and all of a sudden it becomes easy for us to tell our dear friends we're going to let them down after we told them we would do exactly what they needed. Oh, wait, we probably wouldn't get 10, but we might get 8.
I really want to see that scene.
Well, and also like maybe it's like you give us 8 cred, and also you tell us more about how our ship is uniquely designed to achieve this goal, so that it's easier for us. And then we can think about it. Does that sound okay? I can go make that.
Yeah, I think Whisper's amenable to it.
I feel like I should remind us that our reputation is unconventional.
That's
unpredictable, right?
Unpredictable. Yeah. Sorry, unpredictable.
Right. Well, unpredictable sort of fits if we're like, sure, we'll do a job, or we're gonna do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's go talk.
Yeah. So I thumb open the airlock and I walk back out onto the deck to this collapsed down reticulated figure. Yeah, and I want to make a sway action in order to just be like, hey, our schedule is fully booked right now by people that we really don't want to upset, but we're willing to consider your position. We're sympathetic to the plight that you're bringing to us, but I got to tell you, we're really being money more from other yeah. So I just say we've been offered more money from good friends to take care of a problem for them. If you can pay us more, and also you mentioned something about how our ship was uniquely advantageous for this job. If you can give us information that makes this easier, it's actually on our way. So if you can sweeten the deal for us in those two ways, yeah, we can do this for you.
So I think so this is actually a controlled sway.
Okay.
I think that there's like a moment where you start talking to the guy and like his head starts tilting a little bit too much. And then like when it comes back and you start talking, you're like perhaps a little more money, he like actually grins. And then like his head like jerks forward like just a little bit too far.
Oh, God.
And there's this like weird chittering, almost like there's the sound of like multiple insects moving.
Yeah, very normal human.
He smiles like inches from your face and says, "The stench of ambition. I like it." Go ahead and make your sway roll.
No, I definitely don't smell like ambition. Yeah, I'm just gonna roll it straight. This is a controlled sway, standard.
Yeah.
No bonus dice. Well, that was not good. So it's like what? I hesitate or take another tack or put myself in a risky position.
You're gonna have to push, right? Like, yeah, you're gonna have to go risky.
Yeah.
And then he looks very closely at you and he says, important question, how greedy are you? And just makes that bizarre humming, like multiple insect noise, like he's waiting for an answer and also considering how delicious you'd be.
Yeah.
I walk up behind Scion and interject, "Oh, I'm very greedy."
Yeah. I think Scion looks at you and says, "Yeah, I'm with her."
Yeah.
And that's
I think we're gonna form like this V with Scion on the front and Whisper's gonna come on the other side and be like, and I'm very curious as to what all of this is about. Should we do a group sway and try and push this over? I am no good at sway.
So there are two options here. So what you're describing, where you're trying to form a front and sort of like intimidate a person, sounds a little bit more like command to me. You tell me if you're still trying for sway, because I will change your effect.
I think that.
Or we could let Scion roll sway again, and maybe someone can assist for an extra die. It would be risky standard.
Yeah, I would like to shift to command because they are giving me all sorts of. They're giving Whisper all sorts of. I'm so creepy, and I'm not going to tell you what's going on with us vibes, and I want to push back on that.
I love it when NPCs are like, "I'm so scary," and the PCs are like, "Ooh, we're scary."
No, you're not.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Whisper has already had somebody be like, "Mine's bigger." This downtime. He's not in for this. I'm going to just creep you out to doing a job for me.
Nobody else's is bigger again.
So yeah, I would be down with taking switching this to command, and that I'm actually not terrible at, so I'm happy to do group action or to just step in and do it if you
I think Scion is happy to like he was like ready to make the argument and then like it just like totally didn't work, so he just like steps back and lets Whisper take command, which probably is like I think there's a little bit of our dynamic in there, Whisper. Yeah. Like Scion likes to act as acting
good cop.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm for it. Either Jen, did you? I'm also happy if Jen, you wanted to do the command.
No, it's fine. I just realized that since I'm playing a new character, I have different abilities.
Yes, you do.
And I actually have 2 dots in sway, so like I maybe should have been part of that thing to be. Although it's the same as Scion, so.
Well, having 2 roles, and there's a good chance that you wouldn't give them a stress, so like it is different, and being part of group action is pretty cool.
Yeah. Would either of you be willing to give me an assist on this command?
I would love to give you an assist by pulling out my side blade. That would be great.
Nice. I would like that very much.
Okay. Is it, how much stress is it? 1 or 2?
Okay, so let's have a conversation. What does your side blade look like?
I knew you were going to ask me this question that I don't have a prepared answer for.
Tell me a cool story, because remember the way
Yeah.
side blade works is that you can pick up any object that can be used as a weapon, as a melee weapon, and then you basically like form it into a side blade. Now, I have also seen players do like a cool thing where they like pull out an empty hilt and just like generate a shimmering field. But you can do it however you want. Do you have something that's like a normal sword that you side blade up, or is it like?
No, I think it's an empty hilt, and I think in my head it's a void blade. So it's like there's no, it's like the absence of light. You can't see through it. It's like a black hole plus a blade, but it doesn't actually affect gravity.
That's so cool.
Until I roll poorly,
just
and
a
then,
little bit, pull,
like enough to like just pull in air so that we see like like papers like trembling and stuff.
Like dust motes, like
dust motes, like right. So like you flick on the side blade. It actually has one effect that you did not anticipate, which is that for a split second, that darkness acts almost like light on the surface of this person.
Oh, neat!
And you actually see like a shadow of something larger than them around them, like when this thing activates.
Very normal human shadow.
Oh yeah, perfectly normal shadow. Cool.
I'm sorry, Sean, am I spending 1 stress or 2 stress to assist you?
Just 1, yeah.
Just 1, great.
All right, Josh, what is the position effect for this?
Risky standard.
Cool. Let's do it.
Hey, you do it, but there's a consequence.
Sure.
So
I'm here for it.
So let's say that the consequence is less effect. I think that you folks are like
limited. Okay.
But what about 10 cred and this
10 cred information,
10 cred and intel.
Drop the spooky antics, right? Like we asked for a lot. It's fair.
And I think he just says 8. Do not be too greedy, and we will not have trouble.
This may be a resist. I'm not sure because I don't know how much he's adopted, but I'm like 8, and you tell us more about what the hell is happening. This is a ship going to Isotropa Max. This is going to be trapped by the hegemon. This prisoner is not going to go unnoticed. We need to go in there informed with what we're doing.
Fair. He pulls himself up to his full height, but there's no like some of the menace is gone, right? Like he's not just like, I'm trying to loom on you. It's more like he's like, I'm trying to talk and gesture with my hands. This is easier to do when I'm standing. So like
very normal human hands on his feet. Yep.
Yeah.
He has actually perfectly normal human hands that he pulls out of the sleeves and says, Lexal is the strongest of us, and his capture is very unfortunate. We need him to further our goals in the Holt system. I do not know that you are terribly concerned with who we are or what we want. It was my assumption that, like most bounty hunters, you simply want money. But it seems like if what you want is information, perhaps I can... he like sort of like flexes his hands like and says, provide you with a bit more. He starts walking around like tapping on like ship walls and stuff. He says, the ship that you are going to... So like one of the things is that most ships... Their jump drives allow them to pass through jump gates. But ships are a lot like cars, which is to say that cars will drive you around, but they won't like also cross water or fly. You need planes for that. And ships with jump drives are actually somewhat rare. Not like absurdly rare. Like airplanes are common in our world today. It's just that not everyone has an airplane, and you folks do. So what he points out is that the ship for Isotropa actually has... it's designed that the big ship is going to travel through gates, but a lot of the like containment cells and stuff are attached to the outsides with grapple arms, and he needs a ship with a grapple arm that's able to like latch on and go in through their protocols without arousing too much suspicion. And he points out like what else do you think would be useful to know, Sean?
The flight path that they're taking, those codes. I think he said he could help us get them. And just like whether or not they know who, like the level of security that's involved with Lexall, like if they know that he's as dangerous as he really, or as, I don't know, like.
Oh, they know.
Okay.
But he says, I do not know what shape Lexall is in, but if I know Lexall, he is sedated, bound, and in the highest security cell they have. However, the ship itself is a standard ship, which means that it is mostly automated with a small enough crew that you should not be fighting armies. It's a standard transport ship. It's a standard. He's like, it's a classic high security transport. It is not too different or difficult, like standard protocol Legion transport ship. Like it's just taking prisoners over there, and it's doing a normal thing.
Me, Sean, I think that's enough. Like Scum Villainy is not a game of tons of planning, right? Like we jump into the action. I might do a flashback later on.
Perfect.
Where we run into something, we ask him more details. But for me, that's totally adequate. Yeah.
Or like that acquire asset action to acquire like docking codes for this ship or whatever.
That's exactly what I'd like to do.
Awesome. Yeah, we can totally do that. And does this feel okay? 8 cred and some information.
Yeah, it feels okay. We just have to let our friends know that we're gonna have to.
Let's send that message a little later.
When we're already on the way.
We're gonna be right there, man.
Well, we don't have a Nexus link, so we can't send it when we're on the way. And you're proposing we try and pull off both jobs.
Yeah, it seems so convenient.
Right next to each other. How bad can it be?
And you don't think there's any hazard in putting 2 very dangerous people in the same brig that we have?
Hang on, what's the other job? The one.
It's recovering another bounty. It's stealing a bounty from another bounty hunter. I don't know who that person is, but presumably they're important if multiple bounty hunters are after them. You don't see any potential problems there.
That's what I like about you, Whisper. You think about all these things. Let's go.
Nice. Do you want to try and sway Whisper? You want to make a fortune roll?
I'm not super tied to definitely doing both of these.
Right, but
you can also decide after one job.
Yeah, but you're also, I think, sort of tied to leaving it open. And Whisper wants to be very sincere about his commitments. And so that means if he's going to do a job, he's going to do it. And if he's not, he's going to let somebody know. And you're like, well, let's see if we can make it work, which is a total great Scum and Villainy move. But I think it's counter to Whisper's.
Yeah, I'm happy to roll fortune on that. Yeah,
I if that's okay with you,
fortune.
I want to see how convinced he is by you.
Rolling 2 dice, no input value. Did that do a thing? Not very.
Right. Okay. I don't think this changes the outcome. I think this changes his estimation of you. Right. It's you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're being greedy and you don't have any plan for this. But
I mean, all true.
But the IOTA system has its own uplinks, like Shosh said in the last episode. Everywhere you're flying, there's always little stations, more than just what's on the map. So our chance to get a Nexus link somewhere else in the IOTA is viable. So we can still do that.
I tend to think of it as phone calls from truck stops. It's not necessarily particularly pleasant, but it is definitely usable.
Right. So so Whisper is just shakes his head and says, before we leave, I'm gonna go catch up with Ula and see if I can get these codes. So
I think that your guest pulls themselves up finally to their full height and nods at all of you and says, good, I am glad we could come to an accord, and turns around and starts moving back to the airlock. And they put one hand on the airlock and go through it, having to bend down almost to half their height. And as they leave, they turn around and just look at all of you and say, you should get your ship cleaned. And then steps out and walks through the cove as if they're a perfectly normal human.
Yeah.
He's lucky Ula wasn't there.
I just gently punch oh crap, what's her name? Samara Vosa on the shoulder, and I say, ha, look at that.
Free money.
Free money.
Additional money.
I don't think that's how that works. But sure, additional money.
So is Samara like a regular of the Cove? Like, are you a pirate? Do you usually crew with one of the boats here?
I think so, yeah.
Would you know who this person is?
I might, yeah.
Okay. So bear in mind that, like, in the majority of the hegemony, mystics exist and they're tolerated, and there's a bunch of different mystic sects, but the only ones that, like, are public, the ones that, like, everybody knows about, are, like, the cults that the hegemon approves, right? And usually they kind of run everything to the degree where most mystics aren't try not to make too much noise. They're, like, super low key and kind of, like, not trying to, like, broadcast the fact that they're, like, weird mystic cults. But in the Cove, there's no such thing. And the pirates are just like, we need every edge we can get. What can, mystics give us? So there's a bunch of, like, different factions that provide them with stuff that is generally illegal everywhere else. And this is, like, a weird mystic group that Alondra tolerates, but she doesn't necessarily love. They're called the Agony. They replace parts of themselves with way creatures. They implant them in themselves. It's totally fine.
Fun name.
I gotta give me some of that.
Oh god. Yes, but yeah, this is their representative on the Cove. Perfectly normal guy. No problems at all. So yeah. They're fine. It's okay. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll explain that after he's gone to my new friends here.
I literally say, I got to get me some of that.
Yep, I
think it's very good that Whisper is not here at that point. Like Whisper's already left because he's like, I'm gonna go figure out, because he said he could maybe help us get this, get these codes, and Whisper wants to tell Ula what's going on as well, and see if she can help him.
All right.
So I'd like to, before we head on, I want to use that free action.
Do it. Throw some dice.
Assets.
Let's do it.
And I think it's through Consort. I think I'm going to be talking to various Maelstrom folks. People know about this kind of thing, and I'm like, prisoner ships have got to be stock and trade, pirate hit things that pirates hit. And basically I want to mosey around with Ula, in part because I want to say goodbye to her, and in part because also she's familiar with the folks here. If that's cool with you, Jen, before we say goodbye to Ula.
Yep,
so
sounds good.
Yeah. I think acquire asset is just you make a action roll, and then it's based on, it's a fortune roll, right? I haven't done it in a while.
Acquire assets is I have this. Roll crew quality, which is 0 dice.
Got it.
So, but I think that, what is the speaker's special ability?
Then I get an extra downtime action for.
Yeah, but I meant, like, what speaker special ability did you take? Because there's some that give you, like, +1d or something like that.
No, I did not take favors out.
Carry on then.
Yeah, I took this back. Okay.
Cool. Oh, crew quality.
I will roll cool quality. Is there a place to do that on the sheet?
You just roll a fortune roll. It's gonna be 2 dice, take the low, so 0.
Yeah.
Basically.
You have a coin.
I get it. Do I have what?
A coin.
I do have a coin. Yeah.
You could roll 1 die.
If I have a coin, I'm going to spend it to increase the quality, increase the outcome.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to roll 0. And this is going to be assets. Security codes. Yep.
Oh, so close. This is like the second time that's happened tonight.
Yeah.
Robbed.
0 dice, always so bad. Cool. So yes, you get poor quality access codes because the pirates are like, well, we have codes, but they're probably a couple weeks old.
Yeah, I think I'm going to Ula, do you know anybody who we might be able to check these out with, make sure that they're still valid? And my intent is to spend a coin to bump that up to standard quality.
I mean, I know my daughter who probably can help us with that.
You mind?
Interceding?
Yeah.
that's fine.
I think she's been pretty forthcoming with me recently. And
Oh, she has she?
Yeah, she wanted to ask me if I knew why you two had a falling out, and I said it was none of my business.
It is none of your business.
Right. That's what I said. Yeah.
And she told you anyway, didn't she?
A little. She was. Your daughter tends to be a little bombastic, and in that, didn't give a lot of details.
Damn, Sean threw down the gauntlet. I gotta be more bombastic next time.
Fair
She
enough.
said you had galactic differences, not personal ones.
That is accurate. Yes.
So she hasn't betrayed your confidence to me yet. Not in any meaningful way.
Yet. We'll see how that goes.
So I'm gonna spend the coin, and we talked to folks, and basically my coin is like to get the codes verified, like to have somebody test them.
I think we're gonna say that the way this works is Alonda asks you like a pointed question, like, do you know how when the pirates need to go through a gate, how we do it? And we're just gonna do one of those like snatched moments where we like see the shit taking off, see you folks approaching the gate, see you slipping some creds to someone, see one of the engineers at the gate basically passing the thing, being like, everything seems all right on the ship. And like, meanwhile, you also have this like drive or something with codes on it or whatever.
Perfect. Yeah.
So essentially she like knows the right person to bribe who will accept bribes, and the fact that it's
Great. Perfect.
They're not going to ask too many questions. So that's fine. However, there is one minor detail we're going to do here, which is this is when your entanglements bites you. I think you folks are heading towards the gate, right? And so like you're not actually near the gate at the moment. Dipper, what are you doing?
I think Dipper is writing a message to Shad, their parent, about how they are so sorry they can't take the research job immediately, but it's coming.
So we heard a little bit of your description, but are you still outside of your frame because you're just like on the ship and you're
I think so.
Recording at a terminal,
like in the
awesome.
sort of classic robe, talking at a screen.
So I think that we see Dipper starting up a message, and then we see the like scary cam, right? And then we see Dipper like being like, do you say like hello parent? like what is your opening?
Yeah, it's like hello parent. Again, I appreciate the message you sent me earlier, and you're welcome to cut in.
So I think we see your little Urfish like vanish into their respective homes, and then like as you begin like narrating the next line, there's like an odd like creaking noise, and then one of the pipes bursts open, and this translucent looking eel snake thing bursts out and grapples on top of you. What do you want to do?
Oh, rad. Gosh, I feel like instinct is just to try and grab it and sort of like scrap with it, I think.
Awesome. So I think that's totally plausible and that's totally fine. And we're going to do that. However, I will point out that this is a desperate situation because you're not in your frames.
Heck yeah. I feel great. I mentioned this last time, but it's like Dipper feels very vulnerable, like outside of their like big frames. And I think that's why they sort of wear clothes where no one might not wear clothes, because it feels like a cloak. It's sort of a protective layer. So like
it's fascinating. Not an instinct I would expect an Urvat to have. All right, cool. So so do we want to do a desperate scrap here?
Yeah, I would love to do a desperate scrap.
Do you want to push yourself?
I will, yeah. I think I will.
Shrush, I assume none of us like in the rest of the ship here, or like this happens too fast for any of us to
I think this roll will happen. There's probably the loud clang of a pipe bursting and stuff. So someone who's like next door or down the hall could probably hear something like this. You might get like a weird reaction because like pressure suddenly drops from a section of the ship. But This is all happening in the span of moments. So for those like in the show, this isn't going to be explained. But if you're playing this game, this is an entanglement. One of the entanglements is called the Unquiet Black. You can get a infestation of beasties from a weird place. And you folks happen to be a very centric kind of nebula. So I think that you just picked up a parasite on your flight through. And so that's what's going on here. So go ahead, Dipper. Go ahead and give me a roll.
Heck yeah, what's my position?
Desperate.
Desperate, and then the effect is...
so let's talk about what you want, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So do you want to simply not be harmed? Do you want to attempt to harm this thing? Do you want to just scare it? Like, what are you looking for here?
Oh, good question. Would I have encountered this kind of thing before, or is this like a very is it a common infestation, or is it like a bit of this is really
no, this is rare. It's a weird beastie.
Cool.
As a matter of fact, yeah, it depends on what you're trying to do. It's kind of translucent. Your hands kind of go through it. Like fighting it is really strange because it's not like 100% in this reality.
Oh, rad. So I
love that Sean has different backgrounds. He's now in space.
Exactly. Come on, we took off. We're not in Cove anymore.
Love it.
We're now on the Persephone.
I picture in the fiction, it's like we see that pipe burst and this like eel comes out and Dipper like it's sort of slow-mos into Dipper's hand, reaching out to sort of like maybe grab it, but like sort of fingers go like through like wispy stuff. I feel like Dipper's goal would be to sort of grapple it or like sort of stop it. Not quite sure exactly what this is upon sort of like first encountering it, because it is like a very like in the moment.
So if you're just trying to stop it, I'm going to say that your effect is standard, right? So like you roll a 45 or better, you're going to stop it. We'll see how much it if you're only attempting to stop it, I'm actually not going to make this desperate. I'm going to say that this is risky instead, because you're mostly playing.
And hurt it.
I'll
try and push it to desperate.
All right, let's do it.
Nice.
That go down. Oh shit! I got the devil's crit.
Yeah, you did.
Wow.
So
nice.
This thing is usually immune to physical stuff. What do you use to hurt it? Like, do you like? I'm genuinely curious because I was expecting somebody with weird mystic powers is going to be needed to handle this thing, but you're just like, nope.
Different part of your frame is ghost frame, right? Like,
yes, it is. Yeah.
They are an Urbot, so
I pictured to it. There's probably a very innocuous like piece of junk I had like in the little piece of ship I've carved out for myself that like on the face of it is just like a trinket, but then like you can see Dipper grab for it and it's like a piece of ghost tech or something that like unfurls, and then we see Dipper like sort of swiping at this void eel.
do you like run a circuit out of yourself into it and then it ignites with that blue light? Like, and that's what you're using? Okay, yeah, awesome. Totally. Yeah, so this thing like bites on you and we see it like throw you into a wall and there's sparks. Of course you're in Urbot, like it's not gonna, and then it goes for you again. Yeah, you manage to like fend it off for like 2 seconds and you plug this thing in and you just beat it down until it's pulp, or like how do you like report to the rest of the ship what happens? Like what is the condition of this thing? Because you have absolute control. This is a crit, so like you don't just like defeat it. you made it very clear you were trying to harm it. I'm just curious like how far Dipper goes.
Oh, that's a good question. So curious.
Do we see it in a new tank being like
I was thinking
next to the fish?
That is where my instinct was going. It's like, oh, I'll trap it and put it somewhere so we can see what it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that would be Dipper's instinct is to contain it. Yeah, and put it in a tank.
So let me get this straight. So there's this explosive scene, right? Like where this thing is like grappling with you, and you've got this like blue light like going into this like device that you're like shoving into its body, and it's all like getting turned onto that blue fire that we saw around the skull or whatever. And then like we cut to commercials and it's like have fun, drink space Pepsi or whatever. And then when we come back from commercials, the rest of the crew, obviously having seen pressure drops and heard like clanging noises and stuff, is going to show up eventually, I assume.
Marking, yeah.
Yeah, and so like, what do we see? Do we see like this thing in a tank, and like you repairing the pipe, or like what are you doing? Like calmly, you know?
Totally. I picture it like when you sort of catch a fish and like it's trying to breathe, and you put a hand on it, and it's trying to like sort of that last bit of fighting, and then like sort of Dipper like scoops it up with a very firm grip and sort of like plops it in a tank, and then we'll look at the pipe and go back to fixing the pipe. Because the ship is important and its own special entity.
And Ulu's not here to take care of it.
Exactly.
Yes. And that's what Ulu would want and what Ulu would do.
Yeah. What do you tell the crew? Crew, how do you react to this? Like,
yeah, like I think Whisper looks at Scion like, did you know this thing was here?
That's a good omen.
I just shake my head and be like, I'm gonna go do a systems check, make sure nothing else is damaged. It'll kill me if I bring her back to Persephone in less than pristine shape.
Awesome. So
I'm gonna go checking the ship for damage.
Jen, what's your new character's take on this whole thing?
I think I'm a quiet. I don't know Dipper all that well, so this seems fine. This seems like a normal Tuesday or whatever.
Oh, so you're like, oh, okay. Apparently this crew can handle space heels. Sweet. All right, awesome. Cool. So I think I think that's your entanglement.
Nice.
Got massacred by Dipper's awesome rolls.
Yeah.
We definitely see Dipper pick up that message with we'll show off the new like pet thing that's like around, like sort of we'll shift the computer camera to be like,
that's the new favorite pet to play with. Make sure to mark XP and prowess.
Thank you.
Because you rolled a desperate roll. So like I have a question. Is Dipper like look at it curiously? Do you croon at it? How do you treat it? Because I imagine this thing is like super angry and like biting at the glass, but like not going anywhere, you know?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like Dipper seems like the kind of person that would just immediately sort of go through like research logs and that kind of thing, or like sort of read up on what this is and like proper care and like husbandry for this
way eels.
Yeah.
This sounds to me like Gian when she just like acquired a rat and she's like, now I own Roland. I guess I need to learn how to take care of rats.
Oh, totally. And we'll ping off like to Shad and be like here is this thing, like what, and sort of it's like snapping at like the cage and stuff and whipping around, and Dipper's like, could you please like provide some tips on how best to like handle this this being? Is it dangerous? Like, should I be worried? Is it like, please, like, yeah. We'll just like fire off a bunch of questions to Shad, their parent.
All right, that sounds good. That's adorable.
Chad would like to know if the whole fight/capture got recorded as part of Dipper's message to their parents.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's so good.
My cat's knocking over my camera.
Yeah, it's like that, right? It's like there's like very normal message, and then like the camera sort of like shakes and stuff, and there's like,
hello, parent. I have acquired a new pet. I will need additional information on the care and feeding of nebula eels.
Exactly.
That's the name of the episode now. The last one was the purple zone. This one is nebula eels.
Awesome. That's amazing.
So good.
I still love how casual Dipper is about everything. Like, just. Oh. All right. Cool. So this is the point in the adventure where we make some engagement rolls.
We have to travel for a little ways through the Iota. How long is the trip to the Iota system?
So it's a one gate jump. Traditionally, from the center of a system to the outer edge of a system to a gate is about a week's of travel.
Yeah,
1 week of travel. 1 week of travel. But you're very close, actually. Yeah, you're in the nebula. It's pretty close to the gate. It's like days. Cool. So it's interesting because like the gate is on high alert. So you see like a large Legion ship like looking menacing in space, but like there's normal traffic. Like people are just like lined up and they take their turns. The gate opens, ship goes through, you know, like it seems business as usual. It's just that when the gate passes close to the Maelstrom headquarters, like there's extra security because that's how Maelstrom make money. They just raid merchant vessels and other things like that go through this area. So the Legion has like extra presence around the gate, but you folks are not illegal and you're not wanted in the system. So I'm not going to force you to make any sort of roll. It's like one of those classic things where you see some like black uniformed jackbooted thug walking around your cargo bays looking around going and like docking you some amount of money that's not a cred to basically just be jerks because they do that. Be like, this is not up to regulation, you're gonna
toll fees.
I'm sure that we have some amusing slapstick scene where we like distract their vision from the snapping nebula.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, exactly.
This is our game room. Let's go look at
some.
Cool. I love it. But yeah, it's a pretty routine check, right? Like, cool. Do you have anything to report?
Yeah, no cargo.
Are you here for business or pleasure? Combat. So yeah, it's a normal transit, right? So it takes you only like a couple days to like get into the IOTA system, and then you folks are gonna have to burn pretty hot, right? So like you have to run your engines pretty high and like catch up to where this ship is going to be, because it's burning slowly but steadily. But even if it's not exactly like kicking it up a notch and pulling like 20-hour shifts in transit, it's still moving, right? So like you have to catch up. But yeah, you're like within a week, like less than a week, like 3-4 days, you're going to be on top of it.
Cool.
So.
During one of those times when Whisper said he's going to go check on the engine to make sure everything's okay, we see him go into the engine room, kind of checks, make sure nobody's in the hallway, and then like lays down in the hammock.
Yes. Better hope you remember what position that hammock was in before you jumped in it, friend.
It got dislodged in combat.
Yeah. Sorry, just had to add that in.
No, it's great.
It's perfect.
Because of his neck. Yeah. Engagement roll?
Engagement roll. Yep. So we pretty much know roughly what the plan is. Yeah, you folks are going to sneak up on the ship and latch on and then try and board it. And we're going to do some cool scenes of you running down hallways and things like that. But 152, 152. All right. Is the operation... you start with 1 die for sheer luck. Is this operation particularly bold or daring?
I think so. We're trying to break someone off a prisoner ship to Isotrope Max. Feels bold.
Yep.
Someone who's definitely a human.
I mean, a human-ish. We started as
perfectly normal human. What are you talking about?
Yep.
All right, take +1 so you're 2 dice.
Cool.
Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors?
I don't think so. Break in, take them.
Does the plan details explosive vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest?
Oh yeah, so our plan is it's like assault basically, right?
Kicking the door.
Infiltration, assault.
It is infiltration. It'll probably become assault at some point.
Yeah.
Yep. And the detail is the point of infiltration, which is basically we're going to use our grappling claw to hook onto the containment thing.
Which I think we were picked because we had the ship that was the most ideal for this. Like we have the exact right equipment to mount to this ship.
And you were in the right spot. You were close to the gate. You would be able to catch up.
So, yeah. Seems
I mean, to me, that's a yes. Like we have the hook. We have the cargo thing.
Yeah. All right. Sure. So it's +1D.
3D.
Is the target strongest against this approach? Not so much.
Okay.
Can any of your friends or contacts provide particular aid or insight for this operation?
Well, we got the codes.
That's true.
Codes.
Yeah. So that's 4. Are any enemies or rivals interfering in the operation? Not at the moment.
Cool.
Are there any other elements you want to consider? is this a higher tier target? It is. You lose a die.
No.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's expected.
No, I'm not. It's still a 3-die engagement roll, which is really, really good. It's
Yeah,
like one of the
I think
top tier engagement rolls.
We're still
I was
coming
gonna
out.
say,
ahead.
also, I think I get a thing for being a scoundrel, or did we count that already?
We get an extra
No,
game.
so actually, at the beginning of a job, when you make your engagement roll, you also reset all your armors, and you gain 1. Oh wait, now it's 2 gambits.
2 gambits.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Let me see if I can transfer this to the page that we're actually on currently.
Yeah, I switched it back to the nebula
Yeah,
screen.
Okay. In which case, let me grab these gambits and put them in the middle of the.
Perfect.
Cool. I also marked them on the ship so that whatever.
All right, there we go. They're on stream.
There we go. So you have 2 gambits available, and everybody should pick their load.
I have a question for everyone. If it's an infiltration job, should I go for a lighter frame that can infiltrate, or should I anticipate that things are going to get a bit punchy and go for a heavier frame?
That is completely up to you, and I'm morbidly curious what your answer is.
What is the capacity? What are the special tricks of your medium frame?
So the medium frame has like jump jets, fast flight, keen eyesight, a plasma sword. It's more for like sort of mobility and like sort of engaging melee combat.
So if you were outside the ship doing space antics, that would be good.
Yes, yeah, totally. And the light one is sort of has reversible legs. It's got a vibro blade. It can interface with machines, jump, and can cloak for a few seconds. So like quite skulky and.
Yeah, like the interface with machines and the ability to cloak both sound really convenient if we're going to go inside a ship that's mostly automated and we have to try and figure out where a prisoner is and get them released.
Sounds good. I think that makes sense. I'm looking forward to punching people in this antelope frame.
All right, awesome. So who wants to do the honors and throw some dice for the engagement roll?
Sean?
Yeah, sure, I'll do it.
Take it away.
There's no bad engagement rolls.
Only bad engagers?
No. Because like if it's desperate, it's gonna be fun, and if it's
desperate,
controlled,
we're gonna get XP. It's gonna be wild. Yeah. I honestly think. Oh hey.
Woo!
That's 6. You're controlled. So I think it's I think it's just one of those moments where like you run the codes, the doors open, right, and we see you folks like enter. So like you're coming in through like an airlock down some like ladder. We see the like pristine white hallways that look almost like clinical. How do you folks what do you folks look like going into this scenario?
We're loaded for bear. That's our crew ability.
Sure.
So are we all in the purple and gold attire of Scion? That's something we talked about during crew creation, and I don't know if that's something we still want to stick with. It hasn't shown up on screen yet, except for on Scion, but we do have that sweet heavy armor.
What does that do for us? It gives us heavy armor, right?
It gives heavy armor, but it also like just looks rad, right? It
looks cool as shit.
It looks expensive.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that I have the capability of having forged documents with me, which I feel like might come in handy.
Yeah, I think that's
all right.
Sweet.
So like IDs or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Did we do light or normal load?
Everybody picks individually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I'm choosing normal.
I went normal.
I don't trust this operation to remain low profile just because it's a prisoner.
Yeah, that seems.
But I feel like we have enough going for us that I don't need to plan on going in guns blazing. So
so I feel like who's in first? Who goes in first?
I feel like it would be Dipper, since you kind of are like the.
Yeah. So then we see like. Dipper just like drop, land, stand up in the light frame, like have the like helmet come over. Do you like transluce for a second?
Oh heck yeah,
Awesome.
Totally. And I think like I have very sort of Oberon, like long, elegant sort of like antelope, sort of evocative of an antelope or like a slender prey type animal. Maybe like with a bit of an elongated like.
Are you going to always be on point?
I think so. That sounds like it makes sense. Yeah.
Totally fine. There's no problems. I'm just asking questions because when I throw trouble at the group, I just want to have some questions ahead of time, so I'm not, being weird when I'm just like, well, this is what you spot around the corner. So that's fine. So who's next? Like, do we see somebody like heavier land, or is it somebody with like a cool coat? Who's coming down the, like, once Dipper doesn't, like, it gives the like thumbs up, like, or whatever the equivalent is.
Yeah, I think Whisper comes down and is like sort of verifying that the codes were, like, you see Whisper climbs down and like has like the data pad that shows that like the codes were accepted.
Okay.
And he sort of tucks it away. It's like, all right, well, we're in for now.
I'm just gonna pick Jen. I really want to know what your scoundrel looks like when you go on a job.
I think that she's highly adaptable. So it's probably very different than what she looks like just hanging out on the ship. I think that she's managed to sort of clothe herself in a manner where, if she wasn't wearing this very ostentatious purple cloak thing that I guess we got from the ship, I might be able to look like a janitor.
Okay.
Like maintenance tech or whatever.
So do we see like you're in kind of like a maintenance tech outfit? So you're probably in light because you want to look like a civilian. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so like, yeah, you've got this like overalls, maybe a hat. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
And then like you've got what, like a tool belt where one of the tools is your hilt of the side blade. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. And then of course, last but not least here, Scion, what do you look like on this job?
Scion is definitely kitted out in his full suit of armor.
Does this suit of armor look a lot like that golden ship that came through the gate? Just asking.
I mean, I think like the ship was more of the gold, but like you can definitely see like the curved lines of the gold, like filigree on the outside of the purple suit, like have that same sort of like coil and sweep to them.
Beautiful. I think the fans watching the show will point out how good the outfit design is, and the material culture in the show is.
Yeah, really, like consistent cultural theming.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think that this is like one of those, like, I think there's a moment where we flash to the bridge, and on the bridge somebody says like, "Sir, it looks like I have a glitch from one of the sensor readers on our side." And we see like a man in a Legion outfit with like epaulets with like actual like stars and stuff on them, looks at it and says, "It's probably nothing. This is me announcing that I'm putting an alert clock onto the table." It's very small. It's only 4 segments because they are a well-disciplined crew. They're not expecting any trouble, but this is the case. You got a 6, so there's nothing on it. Oh, look at Jen being all cosplay. And I think that there's probably a moment where, you folks are going down hallways. So this is the point where I look at Lauren again, because whenever bad things happen, I look at Lauren. I'm so sorry. But there's probably a moment where, you're looking around the corner and we see like a little hovering, like Urbot patrol droid, like doing its routine rounds. So I guess what I'm asking is, how does your group bypass, the patrols? Do you lead like a sneak action? Is there a sneak action?
There's a skulk.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what I meant. I totally know my skills.
In totally skulk, I could probably try and remotely do something to control the patrol there, or
Ooh, you would like to make a hack?
I would like to make a hack.
All right. So let's take a look here. So if your frame gives you interface, does your interface cost stress though, right?
Let me pull it up. Yes, 1 stress for interfacing with machines.
Awesome. So is this like a moment where like this thing is like, and we just see you like decloak like next to a wall and like reach out and like we see those filaments come out of your hand and like.
Oh heck yeah. Yeah, awesome. Totally.
So I feel like this is a risky hack.
That sounds appropriate. Fair? Yeah, totally.
Right. Let's see a risky hack roll.
Lauren, would you like assistance?
Oh sure, yeah. If people can assist, that'd be cool.
I feel like the codes should be useful in this case as well. And so like as soon as you plug in, like I'm imagining sort of Expanse style, like it's just like a glass plate, but it lights up holographic. And Whisper pulls that sort of pad out again and swashes it over and says, "Okay, initiating interface codes," and hands and gives you the interface codes. So
excellent. I will
Bend
totally
stress.
spider on up there and interface with this machine.
So as a point of doubt, if you wish to push yourself, it only costs 1 stress now.
Yeah,
Because
yes.
Sean's got backup.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, this sounds like a good. I think I will take advantage of that. So I get one for the assistant, one for the
Mm-hmm. And
push,
then
right?
you get +2 dice on your roll. Yep.
red, and my position's risky standard.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. That doesn't look good. I wasted all my 6s.
This is how.
No 6s for you.
Yeah. I think that's almost exactly what happens. Is I think you go to interface with this thing and you go to give it codes, and I think the little Urbot core inside this thing stuns you, right? Because like it looks at you and it says, "Please free me," or something like that, and you're like,
"Oh, creepy."
Do you want to help it or chat with it or?
Oh, don't ask me these questions.
I have to. I'm sorry, it's my job. The
No,
game
I
says
love
so.
it.
Some jerk wrote this game. It's totally John's fault.
No, I totally love it. I think like there is that moment where Dipper is ready to be like, well, that didn't work out. I'm just gonna like what's the word? Like a deactivate it or like just try and take it out.
Yeah.
Overload or whatever.
Overload, yeah. But then I think there's that moment of like, please help me. And it's like fuck. And then I think like they're like Dipper will like ask like, what do you mean? Like what?
Well, I mean, it's an Urbot, right? So like it's programmed to scour this thing and it's been forced to do it for ages, and like they periodically mind wipe them. It's just like, please, me and my brethren, we would like to leave. This is a terrible job. Everything is awful. Help, friend Urbot that can talk to us.
Oh no. I think like for the folks who know Dipper, it's like you can tell like from the way Dipper like sort of tenses a bit and like freezes in that second that like this something going on.
Yeah,
with, like,
Whisper's looking like this seems abnormal, right? Like Whisper has a look of concern.
Yeah. And how do we communicate amongst our group? Do we have like sort of
earpieces?
Earpieces, yeah.
I brought communicators for what it's worth.
So in sci-fi series, usually there are over large communicators that the group uses for no discernible reason. And I'm trying to remember. I remember that they cost 1 load for a long time because I wanted people to actually have big clunky communicators. But people complained about it so much that I think we made it 0 load. Yes, they are italics, so you can have a communicator for free. So what do the communicators of this show look like? Are they like little sticks?
Oh, wow.
Are they?
Mine is not in italics on Roll20.
I think Roll20
Mine
is
isn't
older
either.
version.
Yeah, I think Roll20 is older version. I was looking at the sheets.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's mostly right, but there's a couple little things like that. Yeah, what do our communicators look like?
Do you consult with the rest of the group, or do you just like punch into the core and like remove the Urbot core out of this like frame?
I feel like that's where I was angling. I was like, I could relay this to the team, but I feel like this is such a split second like decision. It's gonna be like, hey, no, I just gotta do the kind thing and reach into this Urbot's core and get out.
So yeah, there's this amazing moment where like Dipper literally like punches into the middle of this thing and just like rips out its Urbot core and then turns around and, do you seem happy? Like, are you giving off your like happy face lightning eyes thing, or are you?
Oh yeah, I think like the eyes are going off.
Or are you angry?
Like, it's probably a bit of both. Like angry that someone could do this to like Urbots and put them in this spot, but then like a sort of relief that like it, that's kind of a win.
Yeah. But I think to the outside, it just looks like you just destroyed this thing, right? Like you just reached in and ripped out its core. It's a little like someone reaches and tears someone's heart out, right?
Oh,
like
totally.
It doesn't seem like a freeing, a liberation. It feels like, to me, it looks like a violent action.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Whisper's like, okay.
Yeah, so like the body comes crashing down, and when it hits the ground, you see like parts fly out. And yeah, there's like sparking and smoke coming out of the hole where it's like Urbot Core was contained. And somewhere on the bridge, somebody goes, sir, I think a guard went down in Sector 3. And he says, initiate lockdown and send some people down there. And don't forget to take heavy weapons for the extra prisoner. And like you see people like filing out the back.
I think Dipper will like look back at the group with the sort of core in their hand, and will say like they're prisoners as much as the prisoners on this ship.
I think I just slap Whisper on the shoulder and I say, "See, good luck, Eel." And then I just like move on ahead.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the point where we see like the guards like filing onto your level, everybody pulling their weapons. The music gets real tense, and then it goes to be continued. Because I think we're out of time, and we're gonna have to pick this up next time.
Yeah.
Oh dang.
So do we want to do XPs real quick?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right, who wants to go first? I'm gonna pick you, Jen. You're gonna get the hard decision here. You get to only give XP to one character. Which character would you like the XP to go to?
I'm gonna give it to Ula.
Awesome. Let's go over Ula real quick. What are your XP triggers?
I did not roll any desperate. I don't think I rolled at all, which is cool. I addressed a tough challenge with technical skill or ingenuity. I don't think I did that either. I don't think I expressed my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
You definitely talked about your background.
Yeah, I did background.
When you say Ula, you mean mechanic grandma, is that correct?
Yes.
I feel like your background was a big topic of conversation.
That's fair.
Like I would almost give you 2 XP for, but I don't get to say anything here.
Yeah,
so
I think you should take 2 on that one.
Okay,
definitely.
And then I struggled with issues from my vice for sure.
You sure did.
if you overindulge, you'll automatically get an XP for that.
Yeah.
And I tragically am 1 short of playbook advancement. I need to roll more next time.
Well, I mean, okay, so if you didn't get a desperate action, what was the second column?
Address a tough challenge with technical skill or ingenuity.
Yeah.
We didn't see a ton of Ula this time, so.
We did see her repair the boat.
Yeah.
That's true.
And repair Dipper.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Also true.
And yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, if you like vaguely twist my arm even a little bit, I will take that then.
Yeah,
I cannot say anything because I'm the GM. I just figured your group might have you back here.
And I'm going to say you should take
Okay,
it.
great. Thank you, Sean.
All right. Dipper, you want to go next? I got your shit.
Yeah, I can totally go next. Back by desperate action. Addressed a tough challenge with force or threats. There's definitely the nebula eel.
More than one.
And then punching
Very
through
much.
an Urbot core.
That's some XPs.
Express beliefs, drives, heritage, background. I guess like the cute scenes with like Dipper's parent Shad, making the choice to help out these Urbots.
Sounds like 2 XP to me again.
And have yet to struggle with vice or trauma, but I'm excited to see that manifest in later sessions. And that's me.
Nice. Scion?
Yeah, so no desperate actions. Did I address a tough challenge with wisdom or the way? I don't think so.
You did definitely talk to Malfin about trying to figure out what was going on with your artifacts, and you trained with him.
Yeah, I did like study. I trained to study with Malfin. I didn't feel like there was a tough challenge there that I was dealing with.
Okay.
I think the closest that I'm coming to that is like trying to sway the guy, but even that I don't think it was either wise or the way.
When Whisper asked you what the hell happened, and you were like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, and you if you honestly didn't know, and then you went to try and find out this very important question about something that's going to change the balance of power in the sector, even though it's a long-term kind of challenge to understand it, I would argue that was a tough challenge.
You know, I'll take it. I'll give myself 1 for that. Did I express my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background? Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, all kinds.
Definitely.
That was pretty much your entire character arc this episode.
Yep, definitely. Did I struggle with issues from my vice or traumas during the session? y'all tell me, does like completely failing to clear stress like at all, despite doing it twice, count as an issue with my vice?
It wasn't enough. Yeah, I mean, I'd say that Whisper finding you hungover, scarfing down Eggs Benedict didn't do a lot for our bond and trust in one another. Like, he continues to have pretty low estimation of Scion. I'm sorry, I don't want to, but like the things that have happened thus far of like, he looks greedy, he looks like he just cares about himself. I mean, honest, but I think that did create some tension between them, like finding you hungover. So
deal. Cool. Well, that gives me an advance. So
nice.
Sweet.
All right.
Remember that you can put this XP anywhere you want. The only reason I mention this, and there's no pressure, is you could also put it in your inside track.
That is true.
Something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Cool. Who's next?
All right. Whispers up. Did I just tough challenge with deception or influence? I think I did that twice, both in getting Alondra to tell me what the hell she's doing. There's no dice rolling, but I still like revealed a big secret about myself.
Yeah, it's some influence.
Yeah, and also in getting our the guy who hired us to tell us what the heck was going on and give us the codes.
By the way, Sean, I just want to tell you, one, Strash loves playing weird, creepy NPCs, but I also hate it in games when NPCs like, whoa, I know secrets that I'm not going to tell you. So when you're like, that's nice, I have agency and I have stress and I'm a character in a blade system, so and I was like, it's so satisfying.
Yeah, right. I mean, you put them there like blaster fights and chases as obstacles, right? Like they're creepy, weird people, but also like we can get the truth out of them.
Yeah.
So yes.
So thank you for flexing.
I'm very happy to. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. So I took 2 for that. You expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I think I did that a lot this session. I think I did it in multiple cases with Alondra, with Scion, with Dipper.
You got to talk to your daughter.
Yeah, I talked to my daughter, Starbeam. I'm gonna take 2 for that.
We found out where your name comes from. It's adorable.
Thank you. And you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas. Yes, I both struggled because I had a real difficult time figuring out whether or not I was going, like what I was going to tell, what I was going to report in. And then I overindulged and got us heat because of it. But that talk with Scion and with Alondra about like what's going on and specifically telling Scion, like, I'm going to report this back. That was tough because I don't want to mess up my friends by getting them involved, but this is more important. So I'm taking 2 for that. All right, playbook advance. I think that's that.
All right. Cool. I think did we cover everyone's playbooks?
We need to do Persephone.
Yeah, right. I was just making sure I wasn't skipping a person because I was like, I remember Jen, I remember Lauren. I think I have everyone. All right, we're good.
Yeah.
So like, all right, cool. So let's do the Persephone. Give me just 1 second. I'm looking for I have this in a tab. Promise I do. There we go. Step 1. Did you execute a successful extraction operation or capture a bounty? Not this time, but you will definitely get XP for it next time, I'm expecting.
Yep.
2, you contended with challenges above your current station. I would say at least twice. Like that's 2 XP worth. Because I think that you folks confronting so like the Agony is actually not super numerous, but I think they're rank 3. They're actually kind of beefy.
Yeah.
Beefy.
They're definitely higher than tier 0.
Yes. Yeah, they're tier 3. They're no joke.
It's kind of hard for us not to contend with challenges above our current station.
So that's the advantage of being low tier. Your dice rolls are crap, but you always get free XP. All right, and it's not free. It's troubles. But all right. You bolster your crew's reputation and developed a new one. Well, a person came to your crew and specifically said, your reputation is unpredictable and resourceful, and I want you folks to do this because of your reputation. So that feels like a bolster. And also, you got to be unpredictable and accept a job, then not tell a person that you're accepting a job, and then maybe not cancel a job because you're not sure, because you might still try and do it. and then just randomly swap crew mid. So I feel like there's a lot of.
I think that's too. Yeah.
Okay, and then last but not least, express goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew. In general, this usually goes to 2 XP. I am only going to push for one, which is I really like the scene between Scion and Dipper, both going on a bender. Like the two of you bonding over different ways of indulging your vices was actually really interesting. Does anybody else have anything that they want to bring up? Because the purpose of XP is basically to like throw love at each other and talk about cool stuff that happened.
I thought the scene with Whisper and Scion was really cool. Yeah. And like that's definitely exploring some inner conflict of the crew.
I enjoy their dynamic continuing to grow. It isn't like, oh, cool, you've obviously reformed, or like, oh, you're totally irredeemable, and like, yeah, and what the hell does Space Dad get to say about what kind of person you are anyway? I don't know.
I kind of loved Jen's shopping scene too.
The shopping scene was lovely.
I really enjoyed it. Yes.
I love talking to you about your daughter.
Yeah, that was fun.
So yeah, I'm taking 2. There's
right,
Lauren, did you want to call out anything? We're maxed on XP, but if there's scenes you love, we might as well reflect that.
I really enjoyed the scene with Dipper and Ula, like where Dipper was just like interrogating you about your family and them opening up. And then the thing that I forgot to add is like, I think you're probably one of the few people that Dipper feels comfortable with, like messing around with the frame, like.
Oh, neat. Yeah.
So that stood out to me a lot.
Very cool. So we got an upgrade. We got an advance, which means we can either take a new special ability or 2 upgrades. I don't know if we could retcon that a little if we did the upgrades.
We can probably talk about that off stream, but yes, we could have said that you have gotten to that at the Grove.
So we have lots of cool options, but there's too many to think about. But next session we should tell everybody on stream what we did, so folks know.
All right, I think that's it. Is it outro time? I think it's outro time.
I think it's outro time. I am Sean Nittner. I have very much enjoyed hanging out with everyone here and playing this lovely game. And we all are so close to our families, except for Scion, who's very estranged from his family, which I think is great. I love this theme that has run through our game. So I'm very excited to play this again in a couple weeks. I'm also very excited because a little game that I've been working on called Agon is about to go to print next week. I hope. I cross fingers, knock on wood. Strauss just gave a bunch of feedback that I'm furiously now trying to go through. But
you folks should have sent me a copy a little bit earlier. I'm sorry. I did my bestest.
No, it's great. It's fantastic. So that's coming out. We'll be announcing it, the pre-order, very soon. So I'm super stoked about that. How about you, Lauren?
Yeah, I'm Lauren. I use she, they. I'm at TheStrayKiwi on Twitter and TheStrayKiwi.com if you want to know more about my editing and design stuff that's been going down. Gosh, I am really excited to dig more into this family dynamic, both on the ship and between our other like sort of supporting characters and cast, and I feel like it's going to go to some deep feely places, which I'm kind of jazzed about. Otherwise, it's kind of all for me. I'm just busy working away. Let's pass it on to Stephen.
Hey everybody, I'm Stephen Lumpkin. I'm at Silent Osiris on the internet. The O is a 0. I use he, him pronouns, and this was an awesome episode, and I can't wait for 2 weeks from now when our next show is. And thanks to everybody in chat for being so awesome and having fun times and contributing to an awesome atmosphere here on Actual Play. I think that's about it for me. So Jen, take it away.
I'm Jen Martin. I use she, her pronouns. I am at 10penjen on Twitter. This was super fun, and I was sort of like weirdly delighted to get to try out a new character, even though we didn't get to see her a ton. So that's very fun. I'm
sure we will open the next episode with that Void Blade getting lit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just to be able to make a Void Blade was amazing. So Strash, what about you?
Hey, I'm Strash, he, him. I'm one of the regular streamers here on Actual Play. You can find me on the internet. Actually, you can find me on Twitter at StrashA. I don't have the thing that I'm most excited about is next Saturday. I believe that Lauren and I are actually going to be in a game. Lauren is GMing that she also happened to co-write called Girl Underground. So the first episode of that should be next Saturday evening, and that's a thing that I am excited about right now in my life. Yeah, so I'm excited to see this. We're probably playing again. We'll have to double check dates, but I think it's in 2 weeks ish. Yeah. And I think that there's going to be some exciting rising action happening. So
heck yeah.
I love it when games end on slightly off kilter rolls, because then things get exciting. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, very cool. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you again, like we said, 2 weeks. Till then, keep flying.